Hello everyone. Today, our group will present a critical analysis of My Big Fat Greek Wedding from the perspective of intercultural communication. This 2002 romantic comedy, directed by Joel Zwick and written by Nia Vardalos, is more than just a humorous love story. It is a rich exploration of what happens when two very different cultural worlds collide. The film follows Tula Portokalos, a 30-year-old Greek-American woman from a traditional immigrant family. Feeling stifled by cultural expectations, she transforms herself by pursuing education and ultimately falls in love with Ian Miller, a quiet, non-Greek schoolteacher. Their love faces strong resistance from Tula's Greek family, especially her father Gus, who insists that she should marry a Greek, make Greek babies, and feed everyone until the day she dies. While the story is lighthearted, it delves deeply into themes of identity negotiation, collectivism vs. individualism, verbal and nonverbal communication styles, and power dynamics within families. Our analysis uses theories such as Hofstede's cultural dimensions, Ting Toomey's face negotiation theory, and Bourdieu's symbolic capital to examine how cultural values and identity are constructed, challenged, and reshaped in the film. We will also highlight how the film resonates with real-life intercultural communication struggles faced by many immigrant families, especially when navigating generational differences and hybrid cultural identities.
One of the first major conflicts in the film is Tula's desire for independence. She wants to leave her father's restaurant and pursue education, a decision that deeply upsets her father Gus. His response, "Why do you want to leave the restaurant? There's nothing wrong with working here," demonstrates a classic clash between collectivist and individualist value systems. In a collectivist culture like Tula's Greek heritage, loyalty to the family and pursuing group harmony are paramount. Decisions are often made collectively, and stepping away from those expectations can be seen as betrayal. Meanwhile, in an individualistic culture like Lance's Anglo-American background, autonomy and self-fulfillment are prioritized. Tula's decision is not about rejection, it's about growth, but Gus sees it as a threat to family cohesion. This reflects Clarkhorn and Stolberg's relational model. Gus values linear relationships based on hierarchy, while Tula is seeking a more individual and collectual orientation. It's not just a personal conflict, it's cultural. A second key moment in the dinner scene, while Lance's parents visit Tula's home, it's chaotic, loud, full of hugs, food, and overlapping conversations. For the portcullises, this is warmth and hospitality. For Lance's parents, it's overwhelming. This contrast illustrates Edward Hall's high context with low context communication styles. According to the Ting Toomey's face negotiation theory, these misunderstandings stem from different face strategies. The Greek family emphasizes mutual face, showing affection and inclusion, while the Millers prefer self-face, respecting personal boundaries without shared assumption. Even kind gestures can feel invasive or cold depending on one's cultural frame.
Next, argument 3. So language plays a humorous but symbolic role in the film. Gus constantly says, "Every word in English comes from a Greek word." Even though it's clearly an exaggeration, it reflects how deeply language is tied to his cultural pride. Names also carry meaning in the story. Gus struggles with Ian's name and insists on using Greek words to describe everything, turning language into a subtle way of drawing boundaries between us and them. From a theoretical lens, this connects to Orwell's co-cultural communication theory. While Ian is part of the dominant culture in American society, within the Greek family's cultural microcosm, he is the outsider. To be accepted, he must get baptized into the Greek Orthodox Church, learn Greek phrases, and allow himself to be called Xeno, which means foreigner. These rituals are symbolic, they are less about religion or fluency and more about showing respect and willingness to adapt. So language becomes a marker of belonging. Bourdieu's theory of symbolic capital explains how names, accents, and linguistic familiarity carry power. Ian's awkwardness at Greek family gatherings show how language can exclude those unfamiliar with cultural codes, even if they have good intentions. Argument 4. The film also looks at gender roles, especially within traditional immigrant families. From the beginning, Tola is expected to fulfill a traditional Greek role, which is to marry young, have children, and help at a restaurant. Her father insists that the man is the head of the house, a clear expression of a male-dominated family hierarchy. However, Tola's mother, Maria, responds with, yes, but the woman is the neck, and she can turn the head any way she wants. This humorous line reveals the quiet strength women hold in traditional cultures, even if it's behind the scenes. Hofstede's masculinity versus femininity dimension also helps explain this tension. The Greek family represents a masculine culture with strict gender roles and hierarchy, while Ian, who supports Tola's autonomy and emotional needs, embodies a more feminine orientation. This contrast creates not just familial conflict, but a deeper clash between gender cultural values. Tola's story ultimately bridges these differences through empathy, self-discovery, and mutual respect. Using standpoint theory, we can see how Tola, as a woman negotiating her role within a patriarchal immigrant family, has a unique understanding of social power. Her journey isn't just a rebellion, it's a redefinition of what it means to be Greek, a daughter, and a woman.
Now, moving on to arguments 5 and 6, I'll be talking about two key themes in the film, which is hybrid identity and intergenerational conflict. As the film progresses, both Tola and Ian undergo transformation, not by erasing their identities, but by creating a shared hybrid space. Tola does not abandon her Greek roots. Instead, she reinterprets them to suit her modern aspirations. Ian doesn't demand her become American. He learns Greek customs and even embraces the chaos of her extended family. Their relationship reflects what Homi Bhabha calls the third space, where cultures blend to create something new. This is cultural adaptation through mutual respect, not forced assimilation. Kim's cross-cultural adaptation theory describes this process as involving stress, adaptation, and eventual growth. The wedding scene is a beautiful representation of this hybrid identity. A Greek ceremony attended by two culturally different families finding common ground. Another theme is intergenerational conflict. Gus, as a first-generation immigrant, sees Greek culture as something sacred and unchangeable. His fear of losing cultural identity leads him to enforce strict rules. Marry a Greek, speak Greek, and stay in the family. For him, cultural preservation equals survival. Tola, on the other hand, is a second-generation immigrant caught between two worlds. She represents what Benny Martinez called bicultural identity integration, the psychological negotiation between maintaining heritage and adapting to the host culture. Her struggle isn't with her family, but with how to be both Greek and American at once. This tension is not unique to this film. It reflects the real challenge of diasporic families across the world, where traditions often collide with evolving identities. The film shows that successful intercultural transmission depends not on control, but on flexibility, empathy, and the willingness to redefine what tradition means.
To better organize these cultural conflicts, we turn to the Hofstad's cultural dimension theory. Four key dimensions help us uplift the communication styles in the film. The first is individualism with collectivism. Towards family is deployed convicted. Every decision from magical to individualism, because he believes love and cares as personal choice. These tensions over the wedding size and involvement issues in the case. The second is power decisions. In turn, families, God holds authority and children are expected to obey. In contrast, Lance's family turned his as an equal. This difference in history after her both families held conflict and control. Gas dimensions as a complex cultural context, but from of overwhelming this. The third is marginalized vs feminist. Culture in the films learned towards marginalized, clear guidance rules, achievement and authority. Les embraces a more feminist culture in his emotion support, eco and philanthropy. This contrast is counter to Travis ethical and so on. The list is uncurtains advanced, guides cross high uncreate advanced his fair change resources and so on. In contrast, that is helpful, comfortable with novel. He excites learn guidance results and steps in a up labeled cultural environment with opposites. Those through dimensions we see the behaviors in the film and no rhythm. They are guided by deployed resources, cultural frameworks, and understanding these dimensions helps bridge gaps not just a movie, but in real life intercultural relationships.
To conclude, My Big Fat Greek Wedding is a comedy that does much more than entertain. It provides a rich, emotional, and often humorous explanation of intercultural communication, showing how love, language, family, and identity intersect. Tula and Ian's relationship shows that successful intercultural communication isn't about erasing difference, but embracing it. Ian doesn't become full Greek and Tula doesn't abandon her culture either. Instead, they build a third space where hybrid identity becomes a strength. By applying theories like hot fourth-dimensional theories, we see that conflicts in the films are not simply personal, they are deeply cultural. And yet, the film's message is hopeful. Through love, flexibility, and respect, people can learn not just to tolerate difference, but to grow from them. That's all for our presentation. Thanks for your listening.